Hey everybody, we're back with the Tuesday Night Dark Souls 2 stream. Yay! Doing your best Kermit voice. Yay! Let's get an idea of how the mic is picking up. That sounds good for the minute. Might want to turn that down actually, it's picking up a lot of sound. Okay, how are we doing right now? We're good. Testy test. Yeah, sounds fine. Alright, let's go. Let's get the headphones. turn the death counter back on. There we go, 29 deaths. Hey Ben, how you doing tonight? Let's try and let at least, a couple of minutes pass before we talk about the big thing that happened out of nowhere today. Look at my beard. Alright, let's go. Where am I going? Phantom. I didn't go that direction. Spent a lot of time mucking around in the forest last time. We have some new rings that I equipped, I remember that. Let me check my equipment. The Chloranthe ring, the Covetous Serpent ring, the Ring of Blades. Which one was... damn it. Ring of Blades increases physical attack is a good idea. The Old Sun ring, that. Explodes at damage threshold, not damaging me, supposedly. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Ready to dive back into the Dark Souls. I always enjoy it. I really don't like these phantoms as enemies. It changes up the entire way you have to deal with them, because you can't lock onto them. And it would probably be less of an issue if I didn't have a thrust weapon. I think that's the entire problem I'm having with them. Like if I had a standard slash. This is what, slash and thrust? Yeah, but it's not a horizontal thrash. Death counter is ready. It's up and it's going. Can't go that way. We already went that way last time. But yeah, no, the death counter is set up. We already tested it. We're currently at 29 deaths. The jars. Alright, there's one around here somewhere. Where is it? Is it above? Yeah, there it is. It feels like a lot of the ideas Dark Souls 2 has done so far are more Demon Souls ideas than Dark Souls. Which may be a good or bad thing, depending on how much you enjoy Dark Souls over Demon Souls. I need to turn when I do that. Ah, crap. So the curse is just damaging this, I think. It's not like Dark Souls... There's a bloody urn there that I can't see. It's not like Dark Souls 1 curse where it's just death and then half your max health. Damn it, damn it. Oh, there's the explosion. That's not a very high threshold for damage. Maybe the greatsword would have been better for this area. A flame butterfly. Autonomously. Alright. Let's throw down a life gem. Okay, let's move through there. He's got to be below me. You know what? Dealing with this whole thing has become an issue. And I don't want to fight him there. This is getting to be a problem. There we go. Let's swap this out then. It's the same weight, so that's not too bad. The horizontal slash is definitely better for me, though, against these guys. Less of a precision attack. It's gotta be down here. There it is. Another Pharos Lockstone. Hmm. Poison, huh? Well, at least I didn't fall off the cliff this time with them. That's Scorpion Woman? I think it is. Or Scorpion Man. Not sure the name of that. I know the name of the Spider Woman. Two separate names of Spider Women. Oh, you get here. You know, that's a situation I could have done with the halberd in. Alright, so... big news today. Which hopefully is going to be real, and we're not going to look like a fool next week. The leaked cover art from one of the PlayStation sites for RE3 Remake. Is this Elemental? Oh wow, look at that. Yeah. Slightly different to the halberd, but no, I'm after that. Quit the bastard sword. Where's the great sword? Oh, this is a great sword, alright. And there's this great sword, which is too heavy for me. The bastard sword is a great sword, alright. So that doesn't look like it is actually a friend. Looks problematic, and it looks like the stairs. I should give it a go. Hello, friend. Ring required. Is that like Queelag's sister then? Where you can only talk to her if you have the old witch's ring? Didn't immediately attack me, so, you know, take that as a benefit. Well, the suggestion before the leak was there's 2 secret unannounced games that Capcom is going to be showing at Games Festa. Where is that curse coming from? I thought I'd taken care of the source. But yeah, 2 unannounced games that Capcom's going to be showing at Games Festa. The thought was that... it's up there. How do we even get up there? Jeez. The thought was that one of them would probably be RE3 Remake, but that it'd be a weird place to announce RE3 Remake. But the Game Awards would make more sense for that, which may be where they're intending to announce it. But, you know, I don't know. They say it is probably inevitable that it's in development. The question is, like, how long is it in development? Has it been in development since RE2 make? Because there's a lot of stuff in RE2 make that can suggest that RE3 make was on the minds when they were making it. Oh, hello. Could probably do with a larger arena for this. And possibility of bleed damage there. Heavy damage there. Roll. The old sun ring already at risk. That's not a very high durability. Yeah, like the wall in the shower room. Hey, Star. I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff already lined up for next year. Let me get rid of the old sun ring if it's about to break. Yeah, because it could work fitting the two of them together. Thanks, Bane. If I'm taking off the old sun ring, there's another ring I could use. Ring of Restoration. It's slow, but it's something. There we go. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah, various stuff with that. There's possibilities. Like I say, I think at this point we probably are going to get RE3 make. And there's a good chance they were making RE2 make with RE3 make in mind, so they could line them up better. Well, that worked. Two, three, four. Damn it. Oh yeah, Project Resistance is definitely going to be before RE3 make. And I would be pretty disappointed if they announced it before Project Resistance came out. I think one of the biggest problems, marketing-wise, that... What did I get? I got a dragon thing. I think one of the biggest problems that Operation Raccoon City had, marketing-wise, was that before it came out, Capcom announced RE6, which, you know, let's be fair, RE6, whether it was good or bad, we were all immediately more interested in that than we were in Operation Raccoon City. What the hell's the dragon thing I just got? There we go. Reinforces special equipment, alright. It is upgrade material. But yeah, I think like one of the biggest problems marketing-wise Operation Raccoon City had was that Capcom announced RE6 before it came out, and I think doing that again with Project Resistance would be a bad idea. But you know, let's be fair, Capcom has plenty of bad ideas. Oh my god! Oh jeez, oh jeez. That's why that Titanite thing was there. Twinkling Titanite thing. It's like the rats in the original. In the depths. Get out of there. Well, there's Twinkling Titanite at least. That could have gone worse, at least I didn't die. One of what being RE7 star. I've completely lost track of what the conversation was before I fell down here. Guard stood and stab ahead. What? Are these curse statues? They don't look like actual statues. Yeah, they've got to be curse statues. Yeah, I would be very surprised if it came out in 2020. We're not in the PS1 days anymore where a single year turnaround time was something you could expect to see. A game coming out within a year of, like, with a year of development is crazy. Bad ideas. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I'm never going to be a champion of RE7, but I think it was a decent enough game. My biggest problem, and reaffirmed this to myself yesterday, I think, I was playing RE2 Make some more. My biggest problem with RE7 is just that it's first person. Might as well sit at the bonfire while we're back here. Let's go back to my jeweler. I might be able to upgrade something. One death so far, not too bad. Upgrade this. We do have enough to upgrade. Great. So 20 vitality is probably great for now. So back in the shaded ruins. But yeah, I'm never going to be a big defender of RE7, but it was a decent enough game. Seeing the thing with RE3 Make today, though, did leave me thinking about how interesting it'd be if we got a remake of RE1 remake, like RE2 Make, just in that control scheme. I think that'd be a fascinating thing. Yeah, I was really disappointed up until Capcom just showed off everything about RE2 Make last year. So I was like, where's RE2 Make? Where's RE2 Make? So let's see about going around this then. Oh, it's not a twinkling titanite thing, it's just an item. And it's just a life gem. Jeez. The biggest problem with not being able to lock onto the phantoms is entirely how your shield techniques tend to work. Damn it. Really needed that. There we go. While like I said, I'm never going to champion 7. I think it's a solid game. However, RE7 is one of the worst cases of a game peaking early that I have ever seen. Ah, jeez. I mean, let's be fair, the best part of the game is dealing with Jack. Marguerite's not too bad, and Lucas can be entertaining, though Lucas does end up, in my opinion, relying too much on the molded, which I don't like as enemies anyway. But pretty much as soon as you're done with Lucas, going out into the swamp, along the bridges in the swamp, from that point until after you're done with the mines, the game just takes a massive downturn. And I think it only gets better when you leave the mines, because all of a sudden the story comes right back and becomes more interesting again. Alright, let's see about dealing with the big guy again. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work horribly. Well, there's 2 of them. See ya. Think I'm done here. The DLC was not great. I like End of Zoe for how ridiculous it is. Oh jeez, there's 3 of them. I like End of Zoe for how ridiculous it is. And I love over-the-top craziness. And End of Zoe was that. Not a Hero was very disappointing, and well, I'm glad I wasn't really waiting for Not a Hero to come out, because that was delayed for so long, and then it came out and it was... Oh hey, remember remember one of the worst parts of the game? Do it again, with a really poor boss fight. Are they still coming? No, that's their boundary. Daughters, I thought was kind of interesting, although it does contradict a bunch of the main game. 21 was kind of interesting, but Jack's birthday party I didn't like. Oh, that's... Ether Must Die I thought was bland. I thought it was like, oh hey, you remember Mercenaries? You want to try it in a format where it really doesn't work? I think like there's another DLC that I'm missing. Bedroom. Bedroom was interesting, but I think he's only good for one playthrough. Oh, that's what that noise was. It was my footsteps. Well, this is a boss. Oh, that's gonna be the Scorpion dude. Look at that, that's way too obvious. Look at that. Oh, Scorpion Lady, I guess. Look at how much of a trap this is. Scorpioness. She has 2 tails. You know, interesting concept, except it's basically Quelaag. It's Quelaag with less personality. And magic instead of chaos. Oh, jeez. Doesn't mean she's not going to be difficult, though. Really is one of the best points to make about the first Dark Souls, though. The monster design was fantastic. You know, considering... Oh, that's worrying. Considering how much DLC RE5 got, the less before... no, RE5, RE7 got, that was kind of just... She's chasing me. That was kind of just... there and there. I'm really disappointed at the complete lack of Devil May Cry 5 DLC. We got Bloody Palace in an update, and that's been kind of it. That went horribly. And I am really not doing much damage here. Wonderful. Here she comes. There she is. Yeah, I mean, I suppose design-wise, she's very much Quelaag, but it really doesn't help that there's also been no build-up to her. And Quelaag had a lot of build-up. Like the, all the spider eggs and, like, all the webbing around the edge of Whitetown and stuff like that. And then you got in there and the cutscene that showed Quelaag. Well, magic can go through wooden barriers, apparently. I'm not saying we can never do an insect woman again. Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha again, bitch. What was that? Did she get... Oh, that's what that was. She was doing a new... She's lost one of her tails. That's what that was. Neat. I always appreciate visible damage on bosses. It's something not enough games actually do. Oh, thank God for iframes. Restore more. Alright, that's good. You bitch. Do you flee like a coward? Probably not the best time to do that. Cut off your tail, where's my weapon? Well, something went wrong there. You know what, I'm not entirely sure I want to cut off the other tail. Ah! That was close. Don't you do that again. Yeah, I knew when I went for that third strike I'd overextended myself. You know, I think probably the best Resident Evil to show visible damage like that is still the original Resident Evil 3. During the fight with Nemesis in the Dead Factory, because if you hit him with the acid, then, like, as the fight goes on, he loses his arm and his head. Of course, you only get that if you hit him with the acid. I was out of stamina. Stagger takes so long in this game. See ya. That feels like a taunt from a wrestling game. What did I get? Soul of Naksha. G3, G3... You mean where the eyes burst? Because like, that's the only thing I really remember about G... Yeah, G3. As far as like visible damage goes, the eyes bursting. But then they just came right back. Oh, wonderful. There are way too many ambush points here. I don't like this with how many souls I've got. I hope after every boss, as always, I hope there's a bonfire nearby. Oh, there's something. And here's where people started to die. Worrying. Well, we're not doing this right now. Not with all these souls. Where's my homeward bones? Oh, okay. The main thing I remember about the G3 fight was just how irritating it was. You know, that G fight would have probably been easier if I'd pulled the halberd back out. They replaced resistance with adaptability. Wait, do I have any Estus shards that I've forgotten about? Nope. Fair enough.
I knew you'd be around.
Let's see, reinforce. The sword. Nothing is in need of repair, cool. Oh, I got the Estus. Let's go back. Right, so I remember the way. Let's just ignore this guy. Chloranthy Ring plus 1 is definitely a good find for this. That stamina regen can never be overestimated. Not overappreciated. Can never be overappreciated. Can certainly be overestimated. What am I saying? Well, there's not a Black Knight here. Treasure Charmer. Okay. Skeptic Spice. Too much that it just goes anywhere. Lowers required faith by 1. Interesting, but I'm not a miracle worker. Alright. Nothing over there. But I'm interested in... No, real one. Alright. I'm interested in RE3 make. Really do wish Capcom would put some DLC out for Devil May Cry 5 though. Like, Devil May Cry 5 was fantastic and I wish they'd just do more with it. I don't know, Virgil DLC. DLC to let us play as Lady and Trish again. Bring Lucia back in some fashion. It was crazy that Patsy, a character from the anime, got a voice cameo and Lucia isn't even mentioned. Alright. You know, I should probably just have heavier armor. But my fighting style relies very heavily on dodging is the issue. Like, look at the massive stat differences with these, though. Like, heavy roll, but you get hit. You're gonna be doing pretty well with it. Do I have a better shield than this? 100% resistance. Is that an even fatter roll? No, it's the same roll. Alright. Oh, what I wouldn't give for Havel's ring. I should go through Devil May Cry 5 again, actually. See, that kind of thing is, one, why I like to be able to do a fast dodge, and two, why it's really worth having good armor. Yep, that was a bad idea. That guy's got a hell of a turn animation to actually get in the swing off. There we go. Well, there's the thing, like, Square announced the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC a month after launch. Devil May Cry 5 came out in May. But there's still a lot of hope that Capcom's doing something with it. Okay, so bonfire over here. There we go. That is wonderful news. Ugh. You know what, let's take a look at throwing some stuff in the item box. The dagger I'm gonna keep. Am I? No, throw that. Keep the bandit's knife. Don't want the short sword or broken straight sword. The broadsword I'll keep. The Drangleic sword is something I'm going to work my way to, I guess. Falchion is not for me, is it? Really wish I could see more info about these things there. Let me see the Falchion. No, that's definitely not for me. It's good dex, but we're not doing a dex build. Well, let's be fair. It doesn't matter what Square does, they're not gonna do right with. They're not going to do right with the Remind DLC. Alright, let's go. Yeah, they're not gonna do enough right with the Remind DLC. Oh, wonderful. Oh, wonderful. Ah, jeez. What is that? Poison and something else? Maybe we'll go the other way. Oh, great. They don't stay dead. Which is awkward, because they take a lot to put down. Alright, let me see this. Let's try a different route then. Alright. But no, the complete lack of Final Fantasy related stuff in Kingdom Hearts 3 is still a mess. I don't think adding extra stuff through DLC is going to help it. Damn it. Free DLC from Square. You know, that said, what did I get? I got free DLC for the HD collection on PS4 yesterday, I think it was. The additional scene for 358 were 2 days because they actually animated the final battle between Roxas and, you know, the spoiler. Oh, you're having it. Where the hell did you come from? And then there's also, like, Kingdom Hearts 1 Theatre Mode, which is, like... What? And why do a Theatre Mode for the first game, but not Rechain of Memories? A game whose gameplay is completely pointless. And let's be fair, it really is. Well, no parries today. Twinkling Titan, that's not bad. But no, I don't expect Square to put out free DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's not forget, this is a company that has what is possibly currently the most successful subscription-based MMO, and it has a premium item shop that works like a free-to-play MMO. It's unbelievable. You're paying for your subscription, and then there's all these cosmetics you have to pay extra for that can't just be unlocked in-game. Alright, you look like an enemy. You definitely look like an enemy. Goddamn daggers and the speed. You know what? That's not even entirely the problem. And maybe Chain of Memories plays better than Rechain of Memories. But then maybe there's just more that we're willing to forgive with Chain of Memories over Rechain of Memories. But I'm not into the card-based gameplay. And beyond that, the card-based gameplay, along with specific positioning really being a point, does not help. And even then, the fact that the story is critical to the series. Like, every other game plays at least in some way similar to the main series. 358 with 2 days, nowhere near as important as Chain of Memories, but plays like a Kingdom Hearts game. I suppose my big point is Chain of Memories should not have been like the big continuation between 1 and 2. Wonderful. If it was a side game I could ignore, fine. But then again, it's also possible that the gameplay just was refined better when it was on Game Boy Advance, and when they made it into Chain of Memories, because they were very clearly doing it as quickly as they could. So much of that game is just recycled from Kingdom Hearts 1. You know, except, of course, Twilight Town, which is recycled from Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm amazed they actually went out and got the English voice actors for it. I'm amazed they went out and got any voice actors for it. You know, let's sit down, might as well. Like I say, maybe it is just... maybe the gameplay is better and better balanced on Game Boy Advance. Because on PS2 it definitely doesn't work well. You know, when an enemy runs away from you in Dark Souls, it's usually a bad thing. It's probably not just that it works better on a 2D platform, it's probably that it may just be better balanced as well. But I don't know, I'm probably never going to play Chain of Memories properly on Game Boy Advance. If I'd had it... there you go, there's the reason they're running. If I'd had it on Game Boy Advance at the time, maybe. But at this point, no. This is not a fight I'm going to win. And that is certainly a reason why. God damn it. There's a big sword there, buddy. Alright, let's try this again. At least my cape looks nice. Alright. Damn it. I think more than anything, this is an area I'm not supposed to go to at this power level. It's like, look at the size of this guy. And look at the damage I was doing to him. Move. No, it's the same with the other guys in the area past Nakja. Hey, Professor Snape, how are you doing today, buddy? Let's try back. Yeah, let's do the things betwixt again. Hmm. Okay, it was this way. Ladies. Oh, you're weirdly quiet.
Still determined, do you wish to...
That's interesting.
You must go on a journey, well, I suppose. But if your will is yet to start again... No,
That's interesting, actually.
go.
My name is Millibeth. The old women were once fire keepers. I am here to look after them. It is what my mother did, and her mother before her, and so on.
I do like the cape.
Old women were, but now, in the kingdom, the old women are sisters. I am long ago, but now they are lost. The old women.
Interesting. Firekeepers. Wonder what happens to them between this game and the first. Well, let's go deal with that one guy who caused us problems at the start of the game anyway. Should do better now because I have a cape. Hey, how you doing? Roll! Well, that happened. And drop. Take canisters. Fix the camera. 2. Nasty. I'm really not bringing my A game anymore, am I? Well, that's gonna be death. I'm a fire starter. Twisted fire starter. I used to listen to that song. I was doing really well earlier. Open your door. Ladies. Alright, come on, I can do this. Then we'll go look for somewhere else. Damn it! Of course. One time I overextend myself there. Why did I suddenly die for that? He didn't kill me last time. Well, of course, the one time I overextend myself there with the 3 attacks, it does the grab as a follow-up. It's very warm in here. I'm having this guy. You know, maybe we should come into this with some news stories just as topics for the slow moments like this. I mean, we already talked about RE3 Nick. Thanks, Billion. Should have done that with the first game, actually. But, you know, it's still working out streaming when we did the first game. Just cannot get far away enough. The big problems with the fat rolls, and why I've still not actually gotten around to doing my super heavy tank. Get off me. No, that's it, dead. Let's see if there's any news stories, shall we? That was weird. Alright. No, it's just death plus Bane. Otherwise it doesn't add the death. Alright. Well, we can get this guy. This isn't even going to be worth it at the end of the day, is it? There you go. So much recovery time there. Each hit takes out so much stamina. Wait. There we go. Finally. Stone ring. Give me some kind of good effect. Reduction of enemy poise. That is not an effect I'm going to make use of. No, that's fair enough. I always hate when predictive text corrects you automatically. But it's like, I don't want you to correct me automatically because there's so many things I will type that you don't have in your dictionary. That was most certainly not worth it. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure if these are worth it. the fat roll really isn't for me. And it's not going to be until I dedicate a playthrough specifically to the super heavy guy. There was a door that took one of the lockboxes that I have now. That would be worth a look. I don't know, I mean, I like to think the people who I text regularly or, you know, and talk to in any fashion using my phone regularly are aware of my habit of proper punctuation and grammar. So when something's wrong, they actually know that wasn't me. But then, let's be fair, we're just so used... that wasn't where I wanted to go. We're just so used to predictive texting making mistakes these days anyway. And let's not forget part of the issue of just typing with touchscreens. Oh, I remember this. Symbol of the King. Has Facebook finally loaded with something up? It does not appear so, because Facebook is taking bloody ages this week. I'm having a weird issue with both Facebook and Google. Like, if I'm trying to Google something, or if I'm on Facebook to look at some articles of stuff that I follow. And it's taking ages to load, and I have no idea why. And it's not the internet, because like, I'll search something on Google, and then click on a link to get off Google, and all of a sudden, ooh, it's way faster. Yeah, I've never been fond of touchscreens for typing or anything like that. It's the same reason why I'm not overly fond of touchscreens for gaming. The tactile feedback just works much better. Okay, these boys. Hey, how you doing? Come here. Eating. Well, no, but you're not on Facebook. At this point, I'm only on Facebook because I have a bunch of pages that I get news from on there. It's like, what am I going to use instead? Twitter? And honestly, at this point on Facebook, I have everybody I'm friends with, or almost everybody I'm friends with, I have them muted. So they don't show up on my feed. All I get from Facebook is the news from sites that I'm linked to, which is all gaming news. Alright. Now, it's got to have been round here. Come on, get the backstab. Get the backstab now, you. But yeah, Facebook for me is really just for the gaming news that I get. So what do I got on there? Eurogamer, Jamatsu. Siliconera seems to have gone quiet lately, actually. Kotaku, because, you know, every now and then they might actually put something out of worth. Though, for the love of God, I wish they would stop with their opinion pieces. That's another giant corpse, and this one's definitely different from the one I saw before. It's like just getting that stuff through Facebook at this point is convenient more than anything. God knows I don't get anything else through there. Plus, it is a convenient way to talk with people if I want to talk with people. Because, you know, a lot of people have Facebook. And it means I don't have to give my phone number out to people if I don't actually want to. It's like, yeah, no, we need to keep in contact somehow. You know, Facebook's fine. I can ignore Facebook. Hey, how you doing? Iframes while backstabbing, bitch. The instant I drop my shield. Oh wow, he parried me. It's a good thing his friend ruined it for him. That could have been nasty for me. Ah, mail breaker. Like I say, it's more convenience than anything else for me. You a friend?
Hello there. Traveling all alone in these treacherous times. Well, I hope you have a very good reason.
What are you doing out here?
Oh, hogwash. Who am I to judge? My name is Pate.
I'm gonna call you Pete.
I journey hither and thither on a sort of treasure hunt, you might call it. Be careful out there. There's talk of unsavory bandits who prey upon travelers like yourself.
You know, bandits would be a nice change from everything I've been dealing with.
Oh yes, you be cautious if you go any farther. There's treasure in there for certain, but the entrance locks from behind.
Is this Peter Serafinovich?
I saw the same design earlier, and it's the same contraption, I'm sure. I was with this warrior, you see, and he insisted that he go inside first. The rather brusque fellow tried to swipe the lid for himself, but it trapped him inside. I still have the gent's ring. I do hope he wasn't harmed.
Is it a good ring?
I'll leave this one to you. I'm worried about what might be inside. I'll leave this one.
Alright. It's you, isn't it? You're going to be the one that backstabs me. Let me see. Yeah, he's voiced by Peter Serafinovich. God damn. For those of you who don't know who Peter Serafinovich is, he is a British actor, comedian, voice actor. At this point, best known for probably for playing the Tick in the Amazon series, and also the voice of Darth Maul in Episode 1. Apparently, they were... There it is. Apparently, they did have him record dialogue for Maul's reappearance in Spoiler, but then replaced it with Sam Witwer without telling him. You know what? That makes up for a lot of the crap that's happened over like the last half hour. A wonderful threefer. Alright, see what we got in here. At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge. Well, this looks like a trap staircase. Oh, I'm glad there was no boulder at the top of this staircase. Really, what's this bloodstain show? Doesn't seem to show anything. Oh well. That's interesting though. I mean, Peter Serafinovich is probably the biggest name in Dark Souls voice acting. I think the lack of lines and just the general mysteriousness of Maul in Episode 1 is the big reason why we liked him so much. I mean, let's be fair. As much as Christopher Lee is awesome, it's not like we like Count Dooku because Christopher Lee played him. Hell, the only reason I like Count Dooku is because of the Clone Wars cartoon. So, your trap failed.
Well, I see you managed to escape. I hope that brave warrior didn't come a cropper either. Be careful out there. There's talk of unsavory bandits who prey upon travelers like yourself.
You already said that.
Oh, but you should take this.
Oh, thank you.
It allows undead to call out for help to one another across the fissures between worlds. With luck, somebody will lend you a hand.
But the white soapstone allows me to lend somebody else a hand. That's kind of the point of it. I thought I already had some kind of soapstone. A small white soapstone. What's the difference then? Not as long lived. Right. Yeah, right. Let's throw one down here then. You know, just for just for giggles.
Well,
Anyway. Yeah, I do think the mysteriousness of Maul's character is exactly why we all loved him. You know, there's a wonderful scene in Justice League War, if you've ever seen it, where Green Lantern turns to the rest of the Justice League and says, "Don't worry, I've got this," and then dashes forward and punches Darkseid in the face. And Darkseid just backhands Green Lantern, knocking him into a wall where he's immediately set upon by parademons who just continuously punch him. And I feel like that just happened. Hey, Defunct. Welcome to the stream, buddy. Yeah, he warned me, but can you really trust Darth Maul? Yeah, I'll agree to an extent that Maul should have been more of a major villain of the prequels. I think the split between Maul and Dooku was a bad idea. It should have been either all Maul or all Dooku. Or present Dooku in Episode 1 as Maul's master. With the twist reveal that Sidious was Dooku's master. Either way, it needed some kind of expansion that it didn't get. But yeah, Ray Park playing in Darth Maul was really good. I don't think it's what got Ray Park a bunch of the work around that point. So I think X-Men came out around the same time. He played Toad in that. I'll tell you what though, oh, you bastard. One movie to watch though, if you do like Ray Park, the King of Fighters movie. It is not a good movie, and it is not a good adaptation of King of Fighters. But Ray Park plays Rugal, and he is having so much fun with that role, and it's one of the few times he hasn't actually been overdubbed. Plus, it lets him show off his martial arts prowess, which is always nice. I'll say this, you've definitely gonna have seen worse video game adaptations than the King of Fighters movie. Especially if you ever saw Double Dragon. But there is fun to be had with the King of Fighters movie, and Ray Park is a large part of that. The range on those. Ew. God damn it. Again, stun locked. And it was worse this time because it was only by 2 guys rather than 4. Oh, X-Men was 2000 then. I suppose the pre-release material would have come out early enough for Ray Park to be cast because of it then. Alright, let's use one of these things. I always forget X-Men was 2000. I feel like it should be 99. I lose track of a lot of release dates around that time as well. Oh, these guys are actually gone now. It's like, Sands of Time's a good example. I always feel like that should have come out in 2002, but it came out in 2003. Get away from that guy. Let's get in here and deal with this. Is there anybody following me? No. Awesome. Use of the range. The recovery animations on this take way longer than they did in the original. That was 3, where's the 4th? Did I miscount earlier? I thought there were actually 5. The one that you see when you come in and then 4 ambush you. Huh. Well, no, I mean... Ray Park's always really cool. to see some of that. It's always neat when you see him at conventions as well, and he's totally willing to... That just looks like a stone. He's totally willing to show off the whole thing, and just how capable he is with that. What the hell is this? Huh. Ah, okay. So it's not a way forward, it's a hidden treasure trove. That gets me standard Chloranthy ring. And Titanite slab, wow. Titanite slab this early? Doesn't open from this side. Where does that leave us? Pete has gone. I love that. That's a wonderful backstab animation. Let's see it again. Wonderful. I'm coming to get you this time. After these few messages. Well, I feel like that worked out in my favour. I certainly didn't take as much damage as he did. I want you to go take a walk, dick. You are a rude son of a bitch. You're all rude, pretending to be dead. Shouldn't have walked into that. I knew one fell behind me. I don't want to let him feel left out. What about the big problem? Did we get the guy throwing firebombs? I guess we did. Nice. Nice. Ooh. Cool. Well, that was definitely worth it. Where the hell did you come from? Were you the guy throwing firebombs? No, you were the guy here. You didn't die from the fall. Tricky bugger. Well, I feel like we've gotten as much as we're going to get from this area then. It's interesting that gate's still locked. Alright, let's head back. Back to Majula. I don't know why I keep thinking there's an N in there. Nobody knows the troubles I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Let's get out of here. Alright, so rather than level up this time, what we're going to do is we're going to go and upgrade the halberd first.
I knew you.
Yeah, whatever, come here. I need more shards. Let's buy 3. So we can reinforce the halberd. That is a halberd plus 5.
I'll be around.
Alright, so that's pretty good so far. Bada bada bang.
Is that a shard you found?
Yes, it is.
Here, to see light, however.
Okay, so throw Dex up a little bit. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then upgrade the Estus. Alright, let's have a rest. And rather than head back into the shaded ruins, or the shaded woods, let's check out the house, the mansion. Map. Dude, should be there now. Was this door always open? Yeah, it led somewhere, didn't it? And led to nothing for the minute. Did I go all the way down here? I don't remember. I remember that first bit, I don't remember if I went all the way down here. Yeah, I did, it's just the waterway. Alright. Well, this is probably going to lead somewhere sooner or later. What's up, Professor? Did I miss something? What about the waterway? Let's go take another look then. What's this? Bonfire. A switch that I've missed. Oh, that. Wow, that is easy to miss. Thanks, Professor. Broken thief sword. Oh, it's closing. Does this open it again? Yes, it does. Alright. Way in, way out. That's not a gate. Well, that's a lot of bloodstains. Okay. Oh, this guy. Heights Tower of Flame. Interesting. Well, if you're not going to attack me, I'm not going to attack you. I'm guessing the warning's about that guy. Given the precarious footing around here. So... guy behind me, there's a guy over there, behind the big guy. I have to take into account the possibility of both of them aggroing when I go over there and attack the big guy. That big guy's definitely ready for a fight. Well, there's only really one thing to do, and that is to do what I do in pretty much every situation like this. Have a go and see how hard it's going to be. That way I can judge how much grinding I'll need to do. Oh, there's the bonfire. Hey, buddy. You're bigger than I expected. Well, that didn't work. Oh wow, you take a lot more damage than I expected as well. That went a lot easier than I thought it would. I guess it was a good idea to upgrade the halberd. Huh. Definitely an interesting visual design. Oh, there's another one there. God damn it. Can we sign back in? No. Well, I guess we're just gonna continue offline then. That's a big mace you got there, friend. And I suppose you'd be willing to not hit me. That close to a one combo kill. Right, set of stairs around the outside. Let's go back and hit that bonfire. There it is. Wonderful. Alright, do the big guys respawn? Yes, they do. I wonder if these guys are worth making a go of it. Well, despite the smaller size, it makes sense that they'd be tougher than the big guys since they seem to be basically optional. You know, that takes less stamina than I would have expected. Alright, let's see what... Oh, it's just another guy. The fact you're not approaching me tells me there's a trap here. Well, see ya. You're guarding something, aren't you? Ooh. Classy. Not as good as these, and these are far lighter. Yeah, we'll keep these. Oh, I'm sure that's a positive thing. One, two, three. Alright, lads. What's this one? What's this? Yeah, that one's not bad. I think I got his attention. Should have followed up. Gentlemen. Two. Three. One day I'll go a full stream without misjudging distance on my attacks. Two. And then finish him. Well, let's finish this, buddy. What the hell's the blue eye orb? Ooh. Fog gate. So what's over here? Let's go and have a look. There's another big guy. And a little guy who's actually aggroed. This could make this actually considerably more dangerous. Yep. Well, it's going to be fun getting those souls back. There. Round 2. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm noticing a lack of music in this game. Like, there's been music every now and then, but there's a really strong lack of it. Might as well kill you again. The switch has already been pressed. There's the souls. That's a boss arena. You turn the music off in options? You find it distracting, Defunct? I mean, there is a certain appeal to just the quiet. That was a bad idea. That was not. That might have been. Close. There we go. Really, almost every game. How come? I mean, not every game has the same kind of environments as this to really capture your attention. Yeah, the game really does get up. If I can lure one of them away... Pull back. You know? That's why the bottleneck is a classic military strategy. It's interesting. I can't think of any game where I've actually gone and turned the music off. If I don't like it, I usually end up kind of just drowning it out in my head. You're using a different weapon. You apparently can't be stunned. There you go. Motherfucker. I haven't played The Witcher 3 though, so I'm not sure what the music is in that game. Alright, let's go do that again. Well, that didn't work. That also did not work. You've had everything just go wrong for you. Yeah, Star Wars music is usually appealing. I say usually, The Force Unleashed, I honestly get kind of tired of the music in that. It overuses one theme. The da-da-da. It's like, every time anything happens, jeez. And, like, yeah, a lot of Star Wars music is overused anyway, but, you know, the John Williams score is of a higher caliber. Will say though, I'm at the point. I say I'm at the point now. I've been at the point for a long time when listening to Star Wars music, you just immediately pick out when it's wrong. You know, what did I do? Last night I played Battle for Naboo on Nintendo 64 for a little bit. And it begins like all Star Wars games do with the big Star Wars theme. Except it's playing it through Nintendo 64 instruments. And it's doing it well, but every now and then there's a tone that's just slightly off. That said, you know, if there's one thing to really give Factor 5 credit for, you know, they put a lot of high quality sound. Well, that's the first one of the game where we've died before getting our souls back. Damn it. But yeah, if there's one thing to say about Factor 5, their games on N64, they put a lot of high quality sounds and actual solid voice clips, free of any noticeable audio compression, into the cartridges. It's kind of impressive, actually. Like when most games on Nintendo 64 wouldn't have anything like that. At this point, restarting because I failed to recover would just take way longer. And with this being a blind playthrough anyway, like if I was going to do that, while this is the first time I've not managed to recover my souls, God, it'd take ages to get through this game. That said, I don't think I'd do that on the first game either. That'd be unbearable. But then that'd really be unbearable towards the end of the game when the level design is bullshit. Damn it, I ran out of stamina before the final hit. I guess you'd call that a hardcore run then. That's generally what that kind of idea is referred to when it's available in other games. Kind of debated doing that with Diablo 3, but well, part of the problem with Diablo 3 is it's either way too easy or it's insanely difficult. there's not really an in-between where it's nicely challenging. I wish you luck with that, Defunct. I could not play this game enough to end up at the point where I could make a no-death run. When I was younger, maybe, but I don't have the time to devote that much time to one game now. And even worse, I don't have the attention span. Well, that hitbox was bullshit. And 3. Finish it. I love the animation and that follow-up attack. It's like, we got that, that's neat, but I love the second attack. That is really nice. 1 run a week, wow. That's going to take ages then. Like I say, I suppose the biggest problem, more than the lack of actual time, is the lack of my attention span. At this point, the stream mostly exists just to push me into actually playing games. God, this is why I hate fighting enemies on stairs. Didn't want you to. Some of these animations last a lot longer than I want them to. I didn't want to attack from behind the shield. What's it for me? The Steam library, but I don't even really PC game anymore. The PS2 library, but you know, I think even if I was gonna focus entirely on PS2 games, that would never get finished. Yeah, that is also lighter. I got a bunch of stuff on PS4, Switch, Xbox One. Xbox One gets worse with the Game Pass as well. Well, it doesn't help that a lot of the games that I'm into are long games. Like, oh yeah, no, here I am playing Dark Souls 2. Taking the break from Lost Odyssey. And it's like, oh yeah, no, let's take a break from one really long game with another really long game. I bought Fire Emblem Three Houses last week, and that promises like over 80 hours of gameplay. And it's like, oh jeez. You took about 15 years off gaming? I think the longest I've taken off gaming is like a week. That's only because I've been busy with other things that have left me without the energy to do gaming. keys stick? Raise the family, that would explain it. Yeah, it's just the strength scaling's good, but overall it's probably not as useful as the bastard sword. I don't know, I mean, last gen was probably a really good gen to do PC gaming. This gen feels like a lot of the best games this gen are either console exclusive or the PC ports of them are garbage. PSP and the DS are good places to be. You know, you say coming back the games are so good compared to the 90s, and then you've got, like, what would you say, like, over 60% of Twitch is over here playing games from the 90s, because we're all blinded by nostalgia. I say that having recently finished Ocarina of Time again, which came out in '98, and having loved going through it again. Well, no, I don't know, that was kind of a... It was actually really refreshing going through that again. God, the Estus take so long in this game. That's fair. You're probably not going to miss anything, Defunct. Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Bane, as the only person watching the Ocarina of Time playthrough, what do you think of it? Nostalgia is definitely a big thing, but I think some retro games have genuinely aged pretty well. Some definitely haven't, some have. I mean, I never grew up with Mega Man. I think the first Mega Man game I played was Legends. I didn't play one of the classics until... I think I was in college. And the only reason I actually ended up playing Mega Man, it was Mega Man 2. And it was because the music had, you know, gotten to be a really big thing. But then Mega Man 2 turns out to be a really solid game, and now I really enjoy the series. Well, because nobody else watches my stuff, Bane. It's like, oh, how did I know it was you? Well, you know, because you're the only person who actually reliably watches them consistently, and I appreciate that. Alright. Well, that was bullshit. I don't know about the dodging in this sometimes. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Today's part, if I remember rightly, today's part is the final part of the... No, Ocarina didn't go up today, it was Broforce. Yesterday's part was the final part of Child Link before we get to Adult Link. Fun fact, not even halfway done through that game yet. Like the uploads, not even halfway done. I had fun with it though, I really enjoyed playing it, and the editing was fairly entertaining as well. It's been a while since I've had to do that much editing for a game. Because like going after all the heart pieces really meant that I had to cut a bunch of stuff out, otherwise it would have just dragged. But I'm mindful of where I'll need to edit when I'm recording. Usually. But no, I really enjoyed playing Ocarina of Time again. It felt really refreshing. Like, in a way that the stream earlier this year didn't. I'm not entirely sure why, but I had a lot of fun with it. Really hoping that'd kill him. Move. God damn it. Really hate it when they turn towards me like that. The Let's Play of Ocarina of Time would probably work kind of well as a guide, actually. Not for the gold sculptures, but for the heart pieces and just the dungeons. I messed up once in the water temple, but that mess up doesn't really cost much time for the video, because they edited around it. I didn't cut the mess up out, there's not really any way to do that. The hitbox on it is unbelievable. You been enjoying Broforce? Honestly, Broforce when I started it was kind of a placeholder more than anything else. It's like, what can I do? And I was going through my library and I turned the PS4 and I was like, what have we got? Well, you know, Broforce is something I enjoy quite a bit. And shouldn't take that long. It took me longer than I expected it to, actually. You know, the way some of this is working, some stuff takes way too long to end. It takes so long to drop my shield in this game, compared to the first one. "41 deaths, jeez. Broforce, I first saw Broforce through a Let's Play by the Super Best Friends. They played it for 20-30 minutes. And I wanted to get round to it at some point, and it came out on PS4. I think it was free on PlayStation Plus, actually, when it came out on PS4. So I grabbed it. And I enjoyed it, but the PS4 version was actually really buggy and poorly optimised. I have it on PC now, and the PC version plays a lot better. Although, it does seem like they've improved the PS4 version since the first time I played it. I certainly didn't have the same troubles I had with the final stage this time playing it through as I did the first time. Which wasn't because it was even difficult, the controls wouldn't respond the first time. There was a point in the game where the controls just would not respond like they were supposed to. But yeah. Broforce, though, it's a fun game. Fast-paced. I'd love to play through it on co-op sometime. Tried to sit down at one point and play the PS4 version co-op with a friend at one point, and it just wouldn't work. No idea why. Weekend one-offs, honestly, have kind of just slipped my mind. And I didn't have anything to follow up after Halloween finished. Friday the 13th was the last one for Halloween, and it was kind of very short notice. That was recorded the day before it went up. Originally, I had Night Trap for it, because in October, Night Trap 25th Anniversary Edition for Switch was on sale for like £3 something. And I had intended to do that, and I recorded it, and it didn't come out well. One of the big things I really wanted to do was the 25th Anniversary Edition of Night Trap has a cutscene mode where you just watch the FMVs, and I was going to kind of riff on it. And it turns out you have to actually finish the game to do that, despite it being a selling point. So yeah, that was fun to discover. Oh, I can't use my white soapstone? Is it because I'm hollow, or is it because of the location? But yeah, it didn't go great. So I scrapped that, recorded Friday the 13th, very short notice. Cut out about half of the Friday the 13th stuff. I spent a bunch of time in the cabin mode, which was visually interesting, but there was a lot of nothingness from me there, honestly. So it wasn't really interesting like that. You know, in a lot of ways, it feels like this is actually a lot slower than the first game. But like, following that, I just haven't really had anything lined up. I mean, at some point I'm going to have to do Bubsy 3D. And there is going to be eventual stuff with like Superman 64 and Batman Dark Tomorrow and other stuff like that. Other bad superhero games. The first game was hard, but I feel like a lot of the stuff responded faster. It feels like it takes longer to drop my shield and then go into the attack following blocking an attack. I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up with some of the old stuff and that I kind of enjoy retro stuff. But I was saying before, like, some stuff like Mega Man 2. Mega Man is a game that I never played as a kid. The first Mega Man I played was Legends on PS1. So it's not a series I grew up with. I barely played. I barely played Legends. It was a game I played like twice. But in college, like, in college, I played Mega Man 2 for the first time because I was introduced to it through the music and really grew to enjoy it. And even today, I've been out of college for 8 years now, jeez. Even today, I'll go back and play games that I never played before because there's a lot of stuff I missed. And one thing I really like particularly about the PS1 era is how experimental everything was. You end up with stuff that you never saw again, and I find that fascinating. Whereas a lot of stuff these days is very tried and tested. Come on. And, like, the PS2, Xbox, GameCube era is really interesting. Because it's the point where game development didn't cost so much. I think that's one of the biggest problems with the gaming industry today. Everything costs so much to make unless it's an indie game. You don't see B titles that much anymore. And when you do, everyone's way too critical of them. Because they're not as good as the AAA. But like in the PS2, Xbox, GameCube days, you know, everything was... We'd gotten good with 3D, it looked better, it performed better. God fucking damn it. It looked better, it performed better, it controlled better, but there was still experimentation. Super Nintendo, I grew up with Super Nintendo, there's a bunch of stuff I can go with that. Pong, I think Pong for me is in the same vein as arcade games. Interesting, but I'm not going to sit down and focus on an arcade game. I just don't have the attention span for it. I don't think I ever really did have the attention span for arcade games, but it depends on the arcade game. Something like Time Crisis or House of the Dead, yeah, love. But, you know, having a way to play those these days. Fighting games I used to be big into, but fighting games is both time and attention span. I don't have the attention span to learn fighting games anymore. I used to be big into Guilty Gear. And I picked up Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 a while back, and I've put like an hour into it since I bought it. And that wasn't even in one sitting. Yeah, that kind of thing. I have Skyforce Anniversary, I think it is, on Switch. And it's a fun enough vertical space shooter. And it's fun to spend some time on, but I'm not going to spend more than probably one stage at a time. But you know, then you've got those people who sat down and played Pac-Man till the kill screen. And it's like... What's that, like 3 hours or something? Finish it. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I play most games long enough for them to disappoint me these days. Let's go over here. Over there's been a brick wall. Alright, you gonna get up? No. Weird. Let me check that shield I got. Yeah, this would be better. But I'm not willing to commit that much weight. Wow. I don't know, I mean... I suppose my dream game would be some kind of super immersive superhero or Star Wars game. But you look at how they are at the minute. And... you just feel like they're never going to get there in our lifetime. Or ever, maybe. That'll be something good. Ring of Binding. That's a good idea. Let's get a look at the description of that, actually. Hmm. I mean, I suppose part of the reason why I like to do a lot of older stuff is down to a disillusionment of the industry, though. Microtransactions, DLC, games as service, constant payments for stuff. Ever expanding development costs and budgets and reduced actual output from all of that. RPG with real NPC realism, in-depth stories. There probably is an RPG somewhat like that. Any thoughts on that, Bane? Like a super deep and immersive RPG that isn't just like The Witcher 3 or something? Yeah, I figured the Ring of Binding would be good when it said it'll reduce my oh shit. Reduce my HP loss, because the HP loss has definitely become a problem. You know, I've seen the zero punctuation review for this game, and one of the main things I took away from it was that a lot of the enemies are just dudes. And here we are with this guy, and it feels like a lot of the enemies in this game actually are dudes, and it wasn't a joke. Don't look at the background, it's kind of disorienting when I'm running in circles like this. See ya. Yeah, I've been playing Skyrim on Switch again. Really just as something to keep my hands occupied. And, like, just my head occupied. More than anything else. Mostly because it's a game I don't have to pay attention to. It's a shame. I was hoping that was actually a fairly standard boss rather than an easy boss, and that I actually was fairly over-leveled. Well, if you're after an ever-expanding world, that could be a problem. But if you talk about something where the characters say the same thing at level 5 as do 50, if you want something that isn't that, Trails in the Sky was actually renowned for that. That game has so much dialogue written into it. Because a lot of the NPCs and side characters will get new dialogue as the story progresses, and they react to it. It's probably not perfect, but it sounds kind of like what you might be after within modern restraints. It might be worth looking into. The second one, especially, Trails of Cold Steel, Trails in the Sky, second chapter, has an even bigger script because of that. I have not finished Nier Automata. That might be a game for the stream at some point. I got it fairly early on. Because I'm pretty into Platinum games. I'm not really going to argue that. I mean, jeez, I loved Astral Chain. I was glad I actually sat down and played that. But I felt like the biggest problem with Nier Automata was there's a lot of downtime where you're just running through an empty world, and that kind of bored me. You mean because it's a Japanese game, or because it's in Japanese? Because it has been fully translated into English. I need to kill, like, one thing. Yeah, the idea of the hat games was interesting to me, but I didn't like the gameplay. Alright, let's kill something. I think it really depends. Some Japanese stuff, totally see where you're coming from. Other Japanese games are made without that kind of idea. I mean, God, you try to play Killer 7 and... Killer 7. Trails in the Sky, if you get it on PSP or the PC version, I don't think it has voice acting. The Vita version has voice acting, which is entirely in Japanese, but the Vita version wasn't released outside Japan, so... Well, I got the souls I was after. They can come through doors, I forgot about that. Crap. Anime art style isn't something I overly mind. It depends on the game. For example, when Castlevania started doing anime for Dawn of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow and Portrait of Ruin, it was disappointing, but that was because the Castlevania games previously had their artwork done by Ayami Kojima, and it is beautiful artwork. I think it depends more than anything else. I try not to judge anything based off preconceived notions of other games, because it has led to me in the past missing out on something I would have loved to experience. Face the right way, you moron. I have 6 Atelier games, and I have yet to actually get into them. Not because I don't like them, but because I haven't made the time. I have the Arlen trilogy and the Dusk trilogy. So that is Atelier Verona, Totori, Maruru, Aisha, Shally, and Esker and Logi. Alright, level up again. But the Atelier games, I've been meaning to get into them for a while, but again, it's attention span. I mean, that said, you know, if you want to get into the Atelier games, though, Bane, Riza is one of the newest ones. I would suggest go with one of the older ones that you can get a lot cheaper. What do you got? There's Atelier Sophie on PS4. That's one of the Mysterious games. Part of the Mysterious trilogy. Who are you?
Are you from these parts? My name is Lycia. I have come to spread the art of miracles, a practice of which I am a disciple. I can see that you are well suited to comprehend their wondrous power.
Am I?
But the cost of it, that's real hard to decide.
You know, I think the best thing about my video game development,
And I'm afraid they were all true.
and by that I mean like playing video games as I was growing up, was the DS. With the DS, I got a chance to experience a lot of weird stuff and a lot of genres that I hadn't experienced before. Like the visual novel. Stuff like Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and Trauma Center. The kind of games that I'd never seen before, and they really caught my attention. And I played them and really enjoyed them, and they got me into visual novels, which led to stuff like Danganronpa, which was really good, and the Nonary games, the Zero Escape series, which is also fantastic. I've not been listening to anything you've been saying here.
To pack up and go back home. It is... well, I must do this. And being out here all alone only makes this a more fitting test of my fortitude. I expected this cathedral to be bustling, but there's hardly a soul to be found here.
What else was there? The DS is where I first played tactical RPGs.
To a place I could go. Sorry.
The Advance Wars series.
By teaching the good work.
And then Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon. The one that got me into the idea was Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor, which was also the first Megaten game that I played. And now I'm just I'm a big fan of the series. I think it was last year I finally finished the collection of those games on PS2. Which was tricky because one of them was not released in this country. Okay, you're just repeating yourself. What is that? I know what that is. Don't need that. And I am not in the mood for miracles. But yeah, the DS was a gateway for me into a lot of weirder genres that I probably wouldn't touch if I hadn't tried them at that point. Oh, that went darker. And then, of course, the PSP, when I got one of those, also made me more open to playing games in languages that I couldn't understand. Because some of the games I was actually interested in were not released in English. What was that? There it is. Cures poison. And the PSP was not region locked, which... You know, region locking just shouldn't be a thing anymore. Shouldn't have been a thing anyway. That was like the worst thing about the 3DS. Oh great, more of you. And the region locking was the worst thing about the 3DS. Let's check over here first. Well, this seems suspicious. And what was that other thing? It was a dark something. Boost dark defense, alright. Yeah, no, just... the Game Boy line, the DS... But then the 3DS comes along and is region locked. The PSP wasn't region locked, the Vita wasn't region locked. My copy of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed for the Vita is American. I think I got it cheap because it was American, actually. Fantastic game. My favourite racing game on the Vita. Well, that was anticlimactic. But yeah, it's a good thing I got the Vita first and not the 3DS. Bone dust. Sweet. Yeah, because like Shin Megami Tensei 4, one of the games I was actually after when I first got my 3DS, it came out in America and then didn't come out in Europe for like a year and a half. And couldn't just import it. It's like when Catherine came out on PS3 and I was actually really interested in Catherine. What did I do? I imported it. Because it was going to be months before we got it. Or when Tales of Grace's F came out and it was like, you know, I want to get into the Tales series. I imported it because it was months before it came out in the UK. Or, you know, when Persona 4 Arena came out in the US, and it was over a year before it came out in the UK, and I couldn't import it because it's the only game on PS3 that's region locked. Thanks, Atlas. Yeah, you just couldn't import a copy of Shin Megami Tensei 4 because, yeah, 3DS is region locked. Yeah, we discussed that in the past. We both picked up, individually, picked up US copies of Chrono Trigger for the DS because they were just cheaper than... It was cheaper to buy a brand new copy of Chrono Trigger from the US than it was to buy a used copy from the UK. Well, that worries me. He came out of the ground and I didn't see him. Which makes me worry that there's going to be ones behind me. I don't like how dark it is here. I'm not entirely sure of my footing. Oh, there's a big dude up there. What did I do? I also imported Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey because, again, just didn't come out over here. But, you know, thankfully the DS is region free. Statues in the way. You know, I wish they could come up with more varied ways of blocking my progress than just saying statue. It's weird to me that consoles were region locked for as long as they were. Oh, hey, a bonfire. Yeah, it's weird to me that consoles were region locked for as long as they were, like the PS2. Region locked. Why? Oh, that's not a pathway. Did I walk into Devil May Cry 1? Light the torch, you bugger. Yeah, it's like I say, did not see you. My PS2 collection of Shin Megami Tensei games. It's way too dark though. I could do with a torch. My PS2 collection of Shin Megami Tensei games. Devil Summoner 2 was not released in the UK. So I had to import it. And it was also cheaper to import Devil Summoner 1 than it was to buy a UK copy. You mean like the .hack GU series? I have a feeling that's one part of it that you are not happy about. Where did that dog come from? There it is. Okay, there was a guy with a bow shooting from over here somewhere. Titanite Shard. Well, this is there's two Fullmetal Alchemist RPGs, like actual RPGs. Here you are. That were released in the US and not the UK. I've imported both of those. But you know, you have to have a specific way to play them without actually owning a US system. And it's not like the Nintendo 64. Like, I have an American... No, I don't. I have a Japanese Nintendo 64. For reasons. Video quality reasons, actually. And the region locking on that is basically two plastic tabs in the system that are just really easy to get around. Yeah, I thought the GU games would be a good example. You know, the hollows and Undeadburg in the original game are way less obvious than you guys. Well, that didn't get me anywhere. Final Fantasy Tactics. If I'd played that as a kid... I did have Einhander as a kid. Although that's because, like, as we've been over before, I had a chip PS1 because, let's be fair, who didn't? Chrono Cross, I can definitely understand, although, given the choice, certainly would have preferred to have the PS1 version of Chrono Trigger than, like, just Chrono Cross. But that's just with my modern feelings, with my current day feelings on playing games in a series out of order. It doesn't matter how tangentially connected something like that is. It's a weird thing with Chrono Trigger, because we got the Final Fantasy games that were ported to PS1. Because in the US, it's Origins are 1 and 2, then there's Chronicles, which is 4, and Chrono Trigger, and then Anthology, which is 5 and 6. But over here, it's Origins is 1 and 2, and then Anthology is 4 and 5, and 6 is on its own. And I don't get that. Like, what was the problem with giving us Chrono Trigger? Because, like, let's be fair, Chrono Trigger is a masterpiece. And if you've got the thought of, like, well, what if people don't buy it because we're porting it with a Super Nintendo game? Why not do what you did with America and bundle it with one of the Final Fantasies? Bundle it with 6. And then, bam, the best RPG collection you can get. You know, that said, kind of surprised that Chrono Trigger wasn't re-released on Game Boy Advance. I have a thought that it might have been planned, but by the time Final Fantasy VI was released on Game Boy Advance, it was pretty late in the life cycle. The smaller size of the stamina bar compared to the health bar keeps getting me. That was close. Don't get me wrong, Chrono Trigger on DS is fantastic, and I love the option of having the entire battle interface on the bottom screen. It works. It really does. Works. Try to get a better position. Like, having the entire battle interface on the bottom screen, fantastic. And it's kind of weird to play Chrono Trigger any other way. You know, since you play the Super Nintendo version or you play the PS1 version, and the entire battle menu is abbreviated. Yeah, the Arc the Lad collection. Ooh. Another series that I have that I need to get around to. It's one of those things like the PSP Go is practically perfect for this kind of thing in this day and age. I've been thinking about it, and the PSP Go, despite all the hatred and criticism it got when it came out, it feels like the perfect handheld to play PS1 games on, because it has a save state feature that, as far as I can tell, was barely advertised. I didn't know it had this feature until I got a PSP Go. I got a PSP Go pretty much entirely because of the form factor. Yeah, this will fit beautifully in my pocket. And let's be fair, digital only isn't really a big deal these days. It isn't as big a deal as it was when the PSP Go came out. Especially since I have a lot of PSP and PS1 games digital because it's the only way to play them on the Vita. Oh, that went the same way it did last time. That was close. Yeah, like the pause game feature, it's straight up a save state. Or a quick save. And then turn your system off. I mean, you could put it in sleep mode, but I don't like sleep modes. And it feels like it's great for the, some of the longer form RPGs. Unless... Hello. Let's be fair as well. Hacking a PSP to be able to play more of the PS1 stuff. Like the stuff that was never released on the store becomes even more valuable at that point. Or, you know, to play the PSP stuff that isn't on the isn't available digitally, you know, because for some reason Square will not put Crisis Core on the store. I understand the entire thing of not wanting to buy digital. The main reason I have the PSP and PS1 games that I have digitally is because it's the only way to play them on Vita. Right, I went right last time, so I want to get those souls back. That said, like, I'm very suspicious of the push to all digital. There's a lot that can go wrong with it. That's going to have been flammable liquid, isn't it? Yes, it is. God damn it. I took a step back to rub my eyes. Well, like, what... Honestly, the main thing that's made me super suspicious of digital games recently, I bought the Katamari Damacy remake on Switch, Katamari Damacy Reroll. And it's Katamari, and Katamari is fun. It's also a single-player game with no online component. If it has an online component, it is a leaderboard or scoreboard thing that I have not noticed and don't care about. And the game demands that if you want to play it, you have to agree to terms and conditions before you start the game. Terms and conditions that aren't mentioned when you buy the game on the eShop. And if you say no, it won't let you play the game. And it's worth noting that you cannot buy this game physically. Like, God, friggin'. Like, you can't buy Katamari Damacy Reroll physically. So, what then? It doesn't tell you in the description that you have to agree to the terms and conditions. What are the terms and conditions? The usual crap of, you don't own this game, you have licensed it, and Bandai Namco reserves the right to tell you you're not allowed to play it at any time. Which is horrible. Dude, get up here. You know, I am pretty surprised they never ported Before Crisis to anything, because they ported the After Years. They ported the After Years to WiiWare, and then they remade it for the Complete Collection, and then they remade it again in 3D at some point. I'm interested in the Final Fantasy VII remake, but I've said this before. I am not picking it up anytime soon. I'm super suspicious of the way this multi-part idea is going to go. And it's like, Bane, you don't expect RE3 remake to come out this generation. Which, understandable concern. I think it's crazy to think Final Fantasy VII Remake will be finished this generation. And so as a result, I expect some kind of collection next generation for it. Which makes me think, like, why should I bother picking up the first part when there's probably going to be some kind of bundle of all the parts? Well, this has gone beautifully. Gah. I need to buy more life gems. Fucking hell. We all expected 3 parts for the FF7 remake, but with the first part just being Midgar, I kind of doubt it. So, like, if the first part's Midgar, then how much is the second part going to have to cover for it to be 3 parts? To be fair, we couldn't... Back when Kingdom Hearts came out, we couldn't have predicted the Final Mix version. Well, we could have maybe predicted Final Mix. We couldn't have predicted the HD versions. I mean, hell, consider how long the HD versions took to come out anyway. It was fairly late last generation. I want to get my souls back and then call it for tonight. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it's anything less than 4. But these days, like, you look at everything and it becomes a case of, I'm kind of interested in picking up Mortal Kombat 11. I fully expect there to be a complete version of it at some point. And that's exactly where I stand with stuff like the Final Fantasy VII Remake idea. I expect there at some point to be a complete a collection version of it that will go for a reduced price compared to buying them all individually. And part of it is probably just straight cynicism. But look at the industry. There's good reason to be cynical about this stuff. God, the DLC for 15. So, the entire 15 situation. That game was unfinished. There's no way of getting around that. And, like, it's so unfinished, they were still adding story points to it. Not even through DLC, through updates. And then they were actually also adding story points to it through the DLC. It's like, have you guys both played 15? Like, finished it? I don't want to throw a spoiler, but there is one example in particular that really irritates me. Oh, the guys from in here must have gone elsewhere. You do like it. That's fair enough. It has its positive points. I'll give it that. Hell, I'm more positive on 15 than I am on 13. I actively disliked a lot about 13. 15 just disappointed me. You haven't finished it. How far are you, Bane? I do want to go through 15 again, because I have the DLC for it now. I got the Royal Edition. And I picked it up really cheap. It was like £20 brand new. Like, really soon after it came out.
I thought that might be you. You haven't changed a bit, have you? The longer I am here, the more madness I discover.
13 with a HD collection.
A wretched place indeed, but not without traces of its former glory. What could have caused such degradation?
Well, like, with 15, there is one character who is like a total standout. Interesting character, seems like going to be very important to the plot. And then you find this character later in the game dead. No explanation, it's just, no, he's dead. And it turns out that the story of this character and how they ended up there is in the DLC.
Ah, yes. I have not thanked you for humoring me the other day. This is for you.
Oh, cool.
Of course, I've no idea what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to 15 at some point and, you know, go through it with the DLC since I have the Royal Edition now. Because I was not buying the Season Pass. I only have the Royal Edition because it was that cheap.
There is only one way.
It was £20 and I got rid of my,
Join the Order and prove yourself in battle.
I got rid of my copy of 15.
No name. I had to carve out a piece of the world for myself.
No, I didn't expect the 13 was getting a HD collection anytime soon.
My loyalty to my lord.
But I don't know. Square gives it enough time for the opinions on it to cool off. It wouldn't surprise me.
I wield a sword. Life was hard. I had swift success on it, and then I. Have you heard of the undead? An undead gradually loses. Finally, he turns, and a hollow one can skirt this wicked fate. Assuming, of course, I can only hope.
Oh wow, you got very animated there.
To burden you with talk, I suppose I've got. I'm sorry.
I suppose 13. With 13, it's a question of like why? Why would you re-release it like that? But then, why did Square remake Final Fantasy II as many times as they did, and yet never fixed it? Oh, that reminds me, a new Saga game came out today, and from what I can tell, it's a proper Saga game. Scarlet Ambition, I think it is. It came out a couple of years ago, I think, in Japan, but it's actually out today in the West. These dogs are way too invisible. Yeah, I don't get why. Maybe the writing was better in Japan. Who knows? Well, I'm taking care of you first. You're different. One of our biggest problems, I suppose, overall... with 13 is just how prevalent it was in everything else Square did. It's like Dissidia Duodecim comes out and it adds a bunch of new characters to Dissidia, because the first Dissidia only had the main character and main villain from Final Fantasy X, from Final Fantasies 1 through 10. And then, oh, here's Duodecim, and we've added a bunch of extra characters. And it's like, oh, who's there? Oh, Kane from Final Fantasy IV, cool. Holy fucking shit. You are horrifying. Kane from Final Fantasy IV, Tifa from 7. Oh god, there's more of them. Laguna from Final Fantasy VIII, Yuna from Final Fantasy X. They added Vaan, but, you know, we can't begrudge them that, because I suppose 12 needed some kind of representation besides Gabranth. There we go. And it added Lightning from 13, and Lightning is the main character, apparently, of that game. Which is really irritating, because she's the main character of so much Square did at that time. And it's like, you've got these characters that you've added who all have their own specific story to explain why they weren't in the original. And the main focus of that is the bland one. Yeah, I wasn't overly bothered about that as a plot point. I guess it... Oh, jeez. Jeez. It made some kind of sense. Although I think there's one point in particular, and you'll probably know which one I'm talking about, Professor, if you finished it. Where Gladius... Oh, not Gladius. Gladio is being a completely unreasonable prick to Noctis, and Noctis should be well within his rights to say fuck off. But at no point does he, and the game treats Gladio as if he's in the right, and Noctis apologises later on for it. But that is definitely a point in the game where Noctis should have totally pulled Royal Rank. But yeah, I mean, 15, my big problem with 15 is more that it just disappointed me. Which is more than I can say for 13, because I never got invested enough in 13 to be disappointed. You think you remember? It's after the Leviathan fight and the outcomes of that part of the story. Yeah, that part. But there's also the point of, after the Leviathan fight, the story just kind of goes way streamlined. All of a sudden, all the exploration in the world that you could explore is gone. And it's point A to point B for the rest of the game. And it really does sacrifice a lot of the story for it, the character development. And all of a sudden, Arden, who is revealed as the main villain, completely changes his personality to be the main villain. God damn it. Like, we go back to DLC though, and particularly with Arden as the focus of as the topic. Episode Arden, the last DLC released, and it's worth noting at this point, there was the season pass that got you episode Ignis, episode Gladio, episode Prompto, and then there was the Royal pack that was separate, that got you the extra dungeon and everything. And then there's the episode Arden, which you have to buy separate from everything again. So it's like I bought the Royal Edition because it was cheaper than anything. I hadn't bought the season pass or anything, and it was £20 brand new. Oh crap! Though it's worth noting, the Royal Edition is just the standard game with a code. Well, that could have gone better. Like, say you've been really supportive of this game, and you bought the season pass, and then you bought the Royal pack, and now they brought out more DLC that you have to buy separate from that. And let's not forget the big, stupid bit of the Ultimate Edition. It's like you pay so much for the Ultimate Edition, and what do you get with it? You get the game, you get the movie Kingsglaive, you get the anime Brotherhood, you get this big figure of Noctis. You don't get the season pass. Because, you know, when you're throwing down £200 and odd for a game like this, why should you get the entire thing? Or even the entire thing that they had planned up to that point. Ninjas. Dogs. But then there's also the problem of having to watch Kingsglaive to understand it, and also having to go in for the Brotherhood anime. To understand it as well, and it's like, no. It's like, you know what did that kind of idea better? Shadows of the Empire. Hey Star, how you doing, buddy? You're actually catching us at the tail end of the stream. We're gonna head to a bonfire. And end it.
I Gavlan. Gavlan will. Gavlan wants what? With Gavlan.
Okay.
Gavlan will. Gavlan want what? With Gavlan.
Uh-huh. Nope. Shadows of the Empire did it better. Shadows of the Empire was a multimedia thing. There was the game, there was a book, there was a comic. And all three of them covered the same events, just from different points of view, but you got the point of the story. With Final Fantasy 15, you're missing important points of the story if you don't like watch the movie, watch the anime, and play the game. And it essentially becomes a case of Square really made 15 into a cash cow. There really isn't any other way to describe it. Shield did not come up faster. It was better altogether, but you got the point from any one thing. And that's why each piece worked. I'm gonna have to go get those bloody souls back. I don't even know where they are in relation to where I am. I mean, to be fair, it's not like, you know what? No, I'm not even... I was gonna make a criticism of the other time LucasArts tried to do that with The Force Unleashed. And you know what? For all the problems The Force Unleashed had, the game gave you the full story. The book also gave you the full story. Was there a comic? I don't know. It was better done. And I suppose it does bring us back to the FF7 remake, and why I'm not getting it until they do inevitably announce a complete collection version, because I'm not spending more money than I need to on this crap. We played Shadows of the Empire for the stream a while back, and it hasn't aged well. Like, just control-wise. Well, that's it for tonight. Was trying to get those souls back, but they're gone now, so... I can wait. It's not like I don't know what's going to happen. I think the big problem with Shadows of the Empire as a game is the floatiness I can deal with. It's how unwieldy the combat is. And it really is a case of, we go back to these games, we should really just play them on easy a lot of the time. The platforming was always awkward. It was never good, because the platforming was designed around the jetpack, and it's too long before you get the jetpack. It's why the platforming is so floaty. Yeah, what have I missed in Discord? Missed a lot. I will look at that after stream. You know, one part of Shadows of the Empire that undeniably still holds up is the the Battle of Hoth stage, it still plays fantastically. And as a kid, the first level and the last level, the Battle of Hoth and the Operation Skyhook were fantastic. They were my favourite levels. And it really is a shame as a kid that I didn't have Rogue Squadron, because I would have loved it. But, you know, I got a GameCube and I got Rogue Squadron 2 and I loved it. You know, at some point we'll go through Shadows of the Empire and aim to go all the way through it. Should be somewhat entertaining. Rogue Squadron 1 I've been going through recently, and I'm stuck on one level. I can't figure out how the bloody hell I'm supposed to do it. It's... You have to protect Y-Wings that are shooting ships with their ion cannons. And you need to protect them, and I can't figure out what the hell I'm actually protecting them from. And in particular, I want to get through Rogue Squadron 1. Yeah, it probably is the 5th level. Is it? First level was on Tatooine. The second level was escorting the supplies. The third level was finding the downed rebel ship. The fourth level... What was the fourth level? I don't remember. I don't think it's 4, but... Yeah, the fourth's Corellia, because Han Solo showed up. Yeah. And you're in the snow speeders. It might be the level after that. You know, that's not a bad fire effect looking at it. Yeah, Y-Wings, you have to protect them while they shoot ships with their ion cannons. Because you can't have an ion cannon. You can't be in a Y-Wing and do it yourself. And I have no idea what it is I'm actually protecting them from. I thought I knew, and then they got shot down anyway. And I want to get through it because the last level I heard is set during Dark Empire. And it's something that I have been kind of interested in for a while. The idea of what if they made a Rogue Squadron game set after Return of the Jedi. I don't know, I called it Wraith Squadron. Because, let's be fair, you know, we've seen plenty of the original trilogy at that point. Rogue Squadron 3 was clearly struggling for ideas. I mean, I like Rogue Squadron 3, don't get me wrong. I heard the Hoth level was not worth the effort it took to unlock it. But yeah, like, if they made an entire game set after Return of the Jedi, like if it was Wraith Squadron, or something like that. I don't know, there's probably going to be a point where I stream it. I do want to make May an entire month of Star Wars stuff. Well, Death Star Trench is never going to live up to my ideas of it, because the Death Star Trench was the first level of Rogue Squadron 2, and it was one of the best openings in a Star Wars game. Like, what else competes with that? I mean, Force Unleashed opens with you playing as Darth Vader is kind of cool. Shadows of the Empire with you opens with you on the Battle of Hoth was awesome. The idea of the Battlefront 2 campaign, the EA Battlefront 2 campaign, where you start on Endor, was interesting and completely wasted because you don't really even do anything. Like, oh yeah, no, we're on Endor, we're running around and doing nothing, and then the Death Star explodes and we have to just get off planet. Okay. What else was there? I don't think any other opening level was really even that notable. Republic Commando, maybe, but not on the same level of awesomeness. Because a lot of the games try to ease you into stuff. They don't start with anything big and awesome like that. But yeah, probably going to save all the Star Wars stuff now for May. And I just do an entire month of Star Wars, like both on the Twitch, on the stream, and on the channel. So that should be fun. There's plenty of material for that. Might even see about getting a couple of guests. God knows I know plenty of people who are into Star Wars. But that is like 5 months away. That will be past the first anniversary, actually. God, that's going to be something I'll have to figure out. Something to do for the first anniversary. Anyway, I'm rambling now. What time is it? Oh wow, it's 20 to 12, jeez. We're gonna call an end to the stream here. I want to thank everybody who joined. I always really appreciate the support. Special thanks to Bane, Professor Snape, Defunct, and Star for joining us in the chat. I always appreciate the company, guys. It is pretty much what keeps the stream going. Otherwise, I might as well just be sat here in silence. Or just doing the Let's Plays. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll continue Dark Souls 2. And on Sunday, we're currently scheduled for Beautiful Joe. That may be subject to change. We will see. Possibly. But I'm really interested in just doing Beautiful Joe. We'll see. Yeah, once again, thank you to everybody for watching. Super special thanks to Baines, Professor, Defunct, and Star for joining the chat. We'll be back on Thursday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time, where we'll be playing more Dark Souls 2. We are going to finish this game one day, and then we're not going to touch another Souls game for months again. Yeah. Do the Kermit voice, yeah. Do the Kermit voice, yeah. Do it better, yeah. No, I can't do it anymore. It was alright when I did it at the start of the stream. No, I can't do it again. I'm embarrassing myself now, let's go. I'll see you all next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. you.